Bart Scott, one of his best quotes of all time, and I was listening to one of the other shows, was when he said he could actually see or feel during the game taking another guy's soul. Like he said he hit someone so hard he took his soul on the football field.
They said we used to call it the bird flu. We had guys you like they a little banged up. They on the injury report. Yeah, they ain't playing. They ain't about that life.
The Raven flu.
Not at all.
And early on in the Jets, it was the same thing, man. It was all about punishing cats, man. I think we're taking the physicality out of the game. At football, at its core, it's a battle of wills against two men. It's going to hurt you and it's going to hurt me, but who's willing to take it the longer? And I was always willing to hurt myself to hurt you. It's one of those things, man.
There's the quote right there. Is it the game that's changing, or is it the athletes and the way they are changing? Because a lot of these guys,
they're coddled.
Talked about that too.
They're coddled. When I was in college, it was 3 days, 30 practices in 10 days.
3 days.
And you can and they can call shells whatever they wanted, but that was live. You know what I mean? It was going in, and what happened is it built that core, that crust. What happens? These kids don't ever have to go through anything. So the first sign of adversity, they don't know how to handle it because everything's been given to them.
Let me ask you a question, Bart. When you came out of high school, what were you, a 5-star recruit, a 4-star recruit? What were you?
Do we have those things? Is there such thing in Detroit? I don't know what it is.
Not rated. Not rated. NR.
In Detroit, you have survivors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was a blue chip All-American. I ended up at Southern Illinois because I didn't pass my test, and then I committed to Michigan State with Saban, and I didn't make the test. They took my scholarship. I passed it. They offered it to me, and I declined it. So I ended up at Southern Illinois with all. I was going to transfer after my first year. And blah, blah, blah. And then I got kicked off the team and, all kind of stuff.
Well, but
my story's crazy.
But I guess the reason I ask that is that in order to have your kind of mentality where, like you just said it, I'm willing to hurt myself to hurt you, is I don't think you're in a situation now because you see how NFL teams draft players, how the NBA drafts players. You're not necessarily – you're drafting guys that have more measurables than intangibles. You know what I mean? Like you're taking a Myles Garrett because I can't teach how big and fast he is.
Yep.
As opposed to the guy who's been through some things. Like I feel like the
draft,
guys
what's that?
Exactly.
I was undrafted.
No, but exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to, like, if you got a guy who's gone through things like that, with the scholarship and everything else, like, he ends up, could have went to Michigan State, ends up at Southern Illinois. Like, he's been through some stuff, so he realizes how fragile the game of football is. And if he wants to take that next step, he has to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And I think you're in a situation now where if you're an agent for one of these young kids and you see how these teams are drafting players, why would you ask the kid to do anything he's not comfortable doing? Because as long as he's tall, fast, and has a ton of athletic ability, they're still going to take him in the top 5 picks.
Because they think you can take that physicality and coach it.
Well, you're not incentivizing guys to be like Bart Scott because you're not drafting guys like that.
This league is soft, man. I'm telling you, these guys are
wow.
They having pillow fights.
Wow.
Listen, you think about the offensive linemen now. All they doing is get in the way. They playing basketball. They're trying to cut you off. You don't see any Jonathan Ogdens, Willie Ropes, Walter Jones. There ain't no guys out there like ain't no Larry Allen.
That's because the game has changed at the lower levels of sport.
But
right?
the athlete,
you start looking at high school athletics, you start looking at high school football, and all these spread offenses and everything like that. You don't have to move anybody.
Right.
And Bart just talked about the nature of the game. The nature of football at its finest is when you impose your will on another man. And quite frankly, these offensive linemen, they're just not moving defensive linemen the way that they used to a decade ago.
That's also because you don't run nearly as much.
It's a different style.
But it don't
game.
matter about the run; it's about the mentality. Listen, if you were playing any defense I was a part of, somebody was going to sleep. Somebody's going
ready
night
to go night night.
Somebody's going
you ready to go night
night.
Somebody's going to say, I don't care what it was. Somebody was red dot. He ain't making it.
Red dot.
Red dot.
Red dot.